Listen, watch, and get switched on to the latest technology trends and gadgets with switchedonnetwork.com.
Hello, and welcome to the Switched On Network podcast. I'm Paul FP, and I'm here again with my co-host and regular guest, Ben, or Ben the Noob, as it were.
I Ben the Noob because I don't know anything really about technology.
How have you been, Ben? You had a good week?
Yeah, decent. Thanks.
Yeah.
Busy.
Yeah,
but you know, good busy, not bad busy.
Yeah. Have you been so busy that you've needed to order takeaway at all?
Actually, not this week.
Not this week.
Yeah, I'm kind of on a bit of a health kick.
Yeah, that's very well. Yeah, new year, new you.
Yeah,
new decade.
Just generally trying to be a bit kind of cutting out the takeaways, but I have been a regular user of Deliveroo.
Deliveroo, yeah. Are they your takeaway app du jour?
Just eat, depending on, from at home or at my brother's house, watching the football. Yeah. Because he can't get a lot of the Deliveroo.
Really? Is it like... I think I've only used Deliveroo once. But,
yeah. But I use them a fair bit.
Well, it's funny you should mention Deliveroo because in this episode I want to talk a bit about the gig economy.
You mentioned last week
and the tech angle on that. So what do you think of when I say the gig economy?
So, because last week I said, my business is based on the gig economy.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is my business, Sound Rebel, little plug, is a podcast production company.
Yeah.
We produce our own formats, kind of original formats that we generate money from advertising for. They're with actors, sports personalities, football commentators, all sorts of different people. And then the other side of it is that we do corporate work for kind of magazine brands and create their podcasts for them.
Yeah.
But when I said that my business is based on the gig economy, it's basically because when we have shows that say our original shows, it works on either a show fee or a revenue split basis.
Yeah.
So no one's being paid a full-time salary or wage. It's essentially my businesses, and with the producers' views as well, not just the presenters. It's a group of freelancers coming together under the Sound Rebel banner and creating content and invoicing for it, each individual bit, not going, I'm paid X per year to work for Sound Rebel. So that's my kind of, it's essentially freelance or short-term contracts is my understanding of what the gig economy is.
Yeah. And what are your shows, by the way? Do you want to give them a quick shout out?
Yeah, we've got, Dilemmas with Jess Ellis is one of our biggest ones. Yeah. So that's, Jessie used to be on Hollyoaks. She used to play Tegan.
Yeah.
Then she got squashed to death by a tree in a horrible storm.
Awkward.
And she was left with a dilemma. What should she do with her life next?
Very good, yeah.
So Dilemmas, the podcast, was created. Essentially, she's like an online agony aunt.
Yeah.
If you're into fancy football, which I am massively, Triple Captain, search for that in your podcast app.
Yeah.
And that's Luke Jurdy, an actor, and then TalkSport commentator Rich Wolfenden.
Yeah.
And me on Background Ben.
Background Ben, yeah.
Yeah, on that one, not Ben the Noob.
Yeah.
A Girl and a Gay in the Gym is our health and fitness format. In fact, I couldn't say format or podcast, I couldn't decide. It's our podcast format.
Yeah.
There we go.
Your form passed.
Yes, exactly. A Girl and a Gay in the Gym, that's cool. And it's two Scouse personal trainers. And we've just launched a new one, Men Not Boys.
Oh, yeah.
Which is...
I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's two... So Rachel Rhodes, I met her. She was a radio presenter for me at one of the stations I used to run. She was also on the Ibiza Weekender when that was the first couple of series of that. So kind of early reality TV show days. And her best friend, Melissa Reeves, who's X on the Beach on MTV. It's just come back from America. It's done something called The Challenge, which we don't have over here.
All right.
I mean, it sounds absolutely horrific. But yeah, it's essentially Rachel is always single and has horrible luck with men.
Yeah.
And Melissa's always got a boyfriend. So it's just them kind of moaning about how men are rubbish. And, if men want to listen to it, you probably pick up a few hints of how not to do it.
Not to be.
So anyway, so it's those kind of things really.
Yeah, well, sounds great. Well,
all with freelancers.
Yeah. Well, I suppose that's very similar to the sort of gig economy I want to talk about, more in the tech angle. And I'm a big fan of Uber. I've used them for several years. I'm the sort of person, probably because I'm a bit of a techie, I never have cash on me.
Yeah.
So when Uber launched, I was itching for it to come to Liverpool. And I remember when it first came to Liverpool, it was absolutely brilliant. If you've never used Uber before, this episode isn't sponsored by Uber at all. It probably wouldn't be after what I'm about to say about them later on. But
oh dear,
it's absolutely fantastic.
You're not going to get into trouble, are you?
You open up. Hopefully, I won't be sued for libel. I'm going to keep it very factual and just share my experience. And hopefully put a positive potential spin on it.
Cool.
But yeah, just being able to open up your phone. It knows where you are, obviously, because of the GPS, because it's always watching and always listening.
Yeah.
To hark back to last week. Tell it to pick you up and take you to somewhere. And then obviously you've already saved your card details in the app. And when you get out, you're automatically charged. I remember the very first time I felt like I was running away without paying. It was a very strange experience, not handing over like a £10 note or a £20 note to the taxi driver, just sort of saying, cheers, mate. So that sort of thing and getting out. But I absolutely love it because I hate having to have coins and cash and notes on me because I never do. I've just never been the sort of person that, goes and withdraws money every week or whatever.
Just a little side note to that.
Yeah.
I was in a steam room the other day.
Oh, yeah.
Listening to two scousers talking about how Anfield is about to go completely cashless.
Oh, is it?
And they think that, and one of them was saying, oh, well, you don't know how much money you're spending when you're not giving across cash. But they're saying that apparently they're expecting it to increase sales in halftime pre-game by a third because they can process that many more orders.
Yeah, because it's so much quicker.
Yeah.
Than having to faff around giving people change.
Yeah.
I mean, on my because I've got my American Express card linked to Google Pay, even if I use the card, not the phone, it pops up almost immediately with a notification on my phone saying how much I spent, which is really handy. We were filling up with petrol or diesel because sadly I don't yet have an electric car. And
we should do that, by the way, in another episode.
Definitely.
Because that's a conversation I've actually been having this week with
Oh,
Jen.
really? That's coming up. It's on the list. So subscribe if you want to hear all about electric cars.
Cool.
And yeah.
You've lost train of thought now.
Yeah. I remember where I was. Yeah. I think my wife's wallet or purse was in her bag, which was in the boot. I just gave her my card and she went in to pay. And because we always wind each other up. I'll always filter like an exact amount, so for like £20 exactly in there. And she got to 19.99, and I was winding her up, and I was like, "Did you mean to do 99 now, or were you trying to do 20?" So I was trying, but then it popped up on my phone that they charged her £20.99.
Right.
So as she got back in the car, I was like, "Why did they overcharge you by £1?" And then I saw that in her hand she had a bag of jelly babies as well.
Yeah, you got to.
Yeah. But so
no one can do that, by the way. No one can get it exactly on 20.
I always do.
No, you don't. Yeah. You're a liar.
Let's do it after this.
Okay. Yeah. Fun day out.
Little Switchline Network vlog.
Yeah, I've got no other words to do, mate. It's fine.
We'll just go drive around petrol stations filling up. Yeah. So
what do you want? So in terms of Uber Eats,
Uber. So I just wanted to preface the episode with that I'm a massive fan of Uber.
Okay.
I really appreciate using them, and without wanting to anger too many taxi drivers, I think it's a much better service than any of the local taxi firms offer, and they shouldn't get up in arms about that. They should embrace change and innovation and new things, and the fact that this is providing a better service, get on board with it. But anyway, I want to tell you.
I've got a few things to say about that later.
Oh, have you? Okay, yeah. Well, if I may, I want to tell you a little story.
Okay.
Maybe at this point we should bring in some gentle story music. And
you're the man for you're editing all of this. So if you want,
if I want to add to my workload, I can do that. But yeah, this is going to be a little bit of a rant.
Okay.
But I've used Uber Eats once or twice. It was fine. Obviously, if you don't know how that works, the riders who work for, in inverted commas, Uber Eats will take the order. So I've ordered, I want this from this takeaway place. They'll drive or cycle or whatever to there, pick it up and bring it to me. So it's sort of like a middleman between the customer and the takeaway shop. And it's a Silicon Valley style tech startup that is controlling all this, but not actually needing to do anything on the ground. So it's a fantastic idea, and I'm definitely in favour of that. I think it's great. So I was getting the promotional emails in the run up to Christmas, and I got this offer a few times. It sort of was badgering me to do it. So on the 20th of December, at 5:10 apparently, I've got the email up here. Last chance for 50% off. Okay. Your offer ends on the 22nd of December.
Okay.
And the code that I was to enter at checkout was Seasons Eats, and I get 50% off. And it says underneath, this code is just for you, Paul, and it won't work with another account. I was thinking, really? It's quite a generic code, Seasons Eats. I don't know why they have to imply that it's not going to work with another account.
Yeah.
Maximum discount £15. Yeah, fair enough. So we can spend up to 30 quid, and it'll only cost us 15 quid. Great. So my wife Rachel and I thought, it's coming up to Christmas. We haven't had takeaway for quite a while. Let's treat ourselves. The kids can have their tea, earlier, about 5 o'clock normally. We're not always hungry then. So,
and what were you going to order? Was it pizza night? Was it Chinese? Just to really set the scene.
I think it was curry that we were
Okay,
going to...
yeah,
no,
nice.
no, sorry, I tell a lie. We were going to get a KFC bargain bucket.
Oh,
the
fantastic.
big bucket, because my wife particularly loves KFC. I'm very partial to a KFC now and again. So, looking forward, stomachs started to rumble. We got the kids into bed, which is always a challenge with three of them. So we got my phone out, chose what we were to order, went to checkout, entered in the code, didn't work.
Right.
Why didn't it work? This was the 21st, so it should have worked until midnight the following day, because it says underneath, offer available until 11:55 p.m. Sorry, 11:55 on the 22nd of December 2019. Maximum discount £15, delivery free, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, there's a small bit of terms and conditions. So there was absolutely no doubt that code should have worked. We were asking for less than £15 discount. It was just for me, remember, that code.
Just for you, Paul.
Yeah, just for you, Paul. That's a nice Siri voice there. And it's valid until 11:55 tomorrow night. But it didn't work. So we didn't order. Because, on principle, I'm a very principled kind of guy.
Oh,
and
no.
I like that. The reason I was taking you up on that offer was because of that. If you're not going to honour it, I'm not going to order.
Even though there's a chicken bargain bucket. Wait, what's it called? I only ever go for. I don't go for the buckets.
I'm not sure. Is it bargain bucket or bucket
whatever.
for two? Or
I mean,
whatever?
that's a side note. That,
Yeah, if you're watching from KFC's marketing department, then send us one.
Yeah.
And then in the next episode, we'll sit there munching away.
Sounds good to me.
Happy to be sponsored by KFC.
So even though you really wanted KFC, just on the principle of Uber Eats not working properly, you said, no.
Yeah, we got something out the freezer and had that instead.
Oh, it's such a depressing story.
I know, yeah. So I contacted them, and at this point, I was still... a generally happy customer, but obviously I was a bit unhappy and
angry.
Something's gone wrong. I think it was the following day, and I said, I tried to do this, but it wouldn't work. So I was expecting them to say, "Oh, I'm really sorry it didn't work, Paul. It should have worked. Tell you what, here's some credit on your account, and consider using us again because we want to keep
for a
you as a
freebie.
customer."
Yeah.
I wasn't necessarily complaining for a freebie.
It's the principle of it, isn't
It's
it,
the
Paul?
principle.
Yeah, of course.
And obviously a freebie would have been nice, because at this
What's
point,
better than a KFC? A
a
free,
free
KFC.
And I was feeling hard done by, and I want anyway. So, but the reply that came back shocked me to my core.
Oh, no.
Made me question my very. No, it didn't really. But they said, "Well, I'm sorry. No, the that code was for a limited number of customers to use on a first come first serve basis, and it had all been used up by that point."
Okay.
Well, I'm sorry, but that's completely false advertising.
I mean,
in that case.
was it in the small print?
No, it was not. It says this code is just for you, Paul.
Yeah.
In the marketing part of the thing, it specifically implied that it was just for me.
I mean, maybe there were many hungry Pauls.
Well, maybe there were. Maybe it's just for people called Paul.
Yeah.
But the only restriction, other than the quantity of the monetary value, was that it was available until 5 to midnight tomorrow.
Okay.
So that was obviously not right. So either they've made a mistake, or they're being very underhand with misleading marketing.
Right.
And an apology would have been in order. So I queried that, and I said, well, no, I think there's been some sort of mistake here, because it did say it's just for me, and it didn't say, first come, first serve. And then the second response that came back was along the lines of, well, that particular code was only valid for a set group of people by invite only, and you weren't one of them. Well, wrong again. I received the email 2 or 3 times to my email address, and it said, "This is just for you, Paul."
Yeah.
So in the end, this had to be referred to the Advertising Standards Agency, who have now referred it to the Dutch authorities, because Uber in Europe is based in the Netherlands.
Right.
Because this is obviously, I'm being careful here, I'm alleging that this is unfair and misleading marketing practices. And that got me thinking,
all of this for a free KFC.
all of this for a free KFC. But it got me thinking about the whole, I like the idea of what they're doing. I love their taxi service, and they've expanded into food. And I think it's a really good idea. I think it's a shame if the way it's run is going to detract from what is potentially a really good idea and a fantastic, clever use of tech. Because, and especially with the taxis, the way you got the Uber app that we as the passenger have, and I think it's a different app that the drivers have, but it's obviously all interlinked together, and it uses Google Maps to direct them. And I've often actually thought if I had a nicer car, because I quite enjoy driving, I might not, at 4 a.m, Liverpool city centre being a taxi driver, but I've often thought, for a bit of extra money and, I wouldn't mind being an Uber driver on the side.
Well, you say that. I was talking to someone the other day who promises they weren't lying.
Yeah.
Apparently there's a fellow who drives around. He sold his business about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Older fella. Doesn't really have much to do these days. He drives a Bentley, but he doesn't put it on the Uber, super duper Uber, whatever it's called, XL or whatever. He just does it on a normal one.
Oh, really? On the normal?
Yeah, so if you order an Uber in Liverpool,
you might
this
get
fella
that.
in a Bentley might turn up outside.
Well, and one day I'd love to get a Tesla, like a Model 3 or something, or even a Model S if the Switched On Network podcast does really well.
Yeah, subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe. Yeah.
Buy things that Paul tells you to buy.
Yes, get all our merch and everything. And Patreon.
I need some merch.
Sorry?
I need some merch.
You do, yeah.
Do I get a free bill? Do I have to complain to the advertising standards?
Complain,
yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I'd love to drive my Tesla around, especially because if you're already going somewhere anyway, what a lot of people do, I think, they'll flick the app on, and then if someone needs a lift anyway, they'll leave half an hour early, and they might pick up a fare. Well, I was out in my car anyway. I'll drop you off at so and so and get however many quid for it. Anyway, so I'm massively in favour of the gig economy in this way, as long as people are fairly looked after. I know there's been an awful lot in the press and the media about are they contractors, are they employees, are they invoicing, or should they have holiday and sick pay and blah blah. And I don't want to get into that because that's not really the topic of this podcast episode. Okay. But I appreciate the flexibility that it can provide for people who are looking for very flexible work, and a lot of times it's specifically because it's flexible that they want. So don't take away the flexibility. Anyway, don't want to get into that. I the question I want to ask and sort of see what your thoughts are is: are we happy with these Silicon Valley tech startups that are very far removed from the actual service on the ground? When it works well, it's fine. But when it doesn't, so for instance, if you have a problem with your order, there's the whole thing about, who do you complain to? Do you complain to the takeaway house or do you complain to them? And a friend of mine a little while ago ordered, it was with Just Eat, and had a problem with his order, and they were washing their hands of it completely, saying, you just need to speak to the takeaway place. And well, I placed the order through you. The takeaway place is surely effectively your supplier, and that's not my problem. My contract of sale is with who I paid the money to, but then I suppose behind the scenes it's the technicality of it. Are they just a payment processor for the restaurant? And you can, but are we happy? Are you happy?
Yeah. I mean, very simply, yeah. I mean, I don't understand the technology behind all these things, but purely as an end user, I suppose, I'm really happy to use Uber. I'm really happy to get a takeaway from Just Eat because, most of the time it does work.
Well, yeah. And so I would hasten to add, so am I. The purpose of this episode isn't for me to have a rant and say all these services are rubbish. And if you're listening, Uber, generally I love you.
Yeah.
Don't sue me.
It's just interesting. I mean, from the kind of business perspective, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Because essentially these are marketing businesses. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is. If it's Uber, Just Eat, Deliveroo, Airbnb, whatever.
Yeah.
Airbnb don't supply any property. It's the biggest. I think I read something the other day that it's now the biggest property rental service.
Yeah.
And they don't own anything.
And that reminds me of that meme I saw a while ago. I'll have to try and find it, where it's like the biggest property company doesn't own or sell any property.
Yeah.
And was it the biggest provider of information doesn't actually have any information itself, like Google, and listing all the big tech firms, and they're just middlemen, I suppose. Middle people, I should probably say, middle persons.
Yeah. But it's really clever. I mean, one of the corporate contracts I've got through podcasting is with a property company.
Yeah.
And we're talking about Purple Bricks the other day, and Purple Bricks are leading the way in terms of over the last couple of years, the market has slowed down a bit, especially in house sales, not necessarily rentals, but house sales.
Any particular reason why that might have happened in the last 3 to 4 years?
I mean, let me have a think.
Oh, yeah.
But it's kind of now that the election's gone, it's starting to pick back up again.
Yeah.
But Purple Bricks have performed pretty well, even though the kind of traditional agents haven't done. There's a story this morning about Purple Bricks where they've
what have they done differently?
I mean, I suppose that they've got fewer operating costs.
Yeah.
They can be more flexible and respond to the market and what's happening in the market.
So did they this is probably a noob question for me, and I think I know the answer. They don't have any high street presence or anything to
No.
Purple Bricks. Is it just online?
I believe not. I think it's purely online.
Yeah.
I mean, my dad was an estate agent for years and years.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes if the market's not going well, it can be tough because your business rates are still the same. You've still got to pay your rent. You've still got to use exactly the same amount of electricity.
And do we really need a high street presence in this day and age for an estate agent?
I mean, there's currently, I'll bore off on property for ages, but there's currently a petition gone into the government, which is they are reducing business rates. So they're giving a discount on business rates for retail businesses on the high street to kind of help the high street along. Estate agents are now going to the government and saying, well, hang on, we should be included in this because we've been a staple of the high street for so many years. But actually you class us as an office, even though we are on the high street and it's a shop.
It's sort of a retailer, isn't it? Just not in the traditional sense. Yeah, you can see how it could be. Yeah.
I think your question about do we want this as the end user with Purple Bricks as an example, because when these online agents started to come out, you did think, well, hang on a sec, don't you need to have a presence? Don't people, this is the biggest purchase they will make in their life. Buying a house, it's not like just going into the shop and buying some new speakers, is it? You know, you're committing to a mortgage, you're committing to years and years of financial.
But then I suppose the estate agency, again, is almost like a middleman, isn't it? Because you actually do the sale through your solicitors and the conveyancing and all the rest of it.
But I think kind of what these online agents have done is that they've married together the best bits of the traditional service and the best bits of online. And I think, from an end user perspective, they've just been voted, I can't remember what the exact, it's one of these ratings websites, basically.
Yeah, like Trustpilot or something.
Yeah, but it's not Trustpilot. I can't remember what it's called. But same principle. And they've just come out as the top agent from thousands of reviews. So, people
so
obviously
doing something right. And,
and I think, you've got to.
And the lack of high street shop and all that expense and overheads isn't putting people off. So they're thinking, well, why would we do that? I guess.
Yeah.
Another example is Monzo, the bank.
I need to get a Monzo card. I keep hearing about this.
They used to do. If I referred you, we would have both got a fiver, but they've stopped that now.
Yeah.
But
anything for a deal, like
anything for a deal. Yeah. I mean, I occasionally go into the bank that I use for my business, because occasionally clients pay by check. It's always a bit of a pain when they do, but hey, you can't say no. And well, in fact, very occasionally people paying cash, hardly ever. But so I always just go straight in and pay it in. Because it's a business account, you're not allowed counter service. You just use the machine. But apart from that, I never ever set foot in the bank. And the bank that I bank with personally, as well as Monzo, haven't fully switched to Monzo. I never set foot in the back because I don't need to do everything online with the app. Every now and again, the mother-in-law might give us a check for Christmas, which is very gratefully received. But you can put that in the post office around the corner. You don't actually need to. The only branch that I can think of the bank that I bank with personally is in the city centre. So, why have the high street presence? And I appreciate the high street is dying, but maybe we as a society have started to move on.
That's a whole other conversation
topic,
where, like Liverpool One here, for example, we did a podcast with them not long ago, just before Christmas, where they were talking about how their experience-led events and, different things that they bring into Liverpool One to get people in is working really well for them. So it's not dying, it's just changing.
It's changing, there's more restaurants and
exactly.
bars and,
But going back to your question of do we want more of this, I think, well, it doesn't matter if we want more of it or not, it's going to happen. And I think the other day I had to go and I haven't had takeaways for ages. We did actually have one.
Coming out now, you big liar.
But it's like, always on Deliveroo. But when they get really busy, they turn Deliveroo off. So it just goes off the app.
Oh, okay.
But Jem really wanted it.
Yeah.
So, I was kind of annoyed that I had to drive. I had to drive to a takeaway.
Terrible.
And pick it up and then drive home.
You actually had to get off the sofa.
Yeah. And it's, you kind of find
Are you one of
yourself
these people
annoyed.
that leaves your front door unlocked and then just shouts to take, we're in the line, bring it to me?
Oh, absolutely not. Can you imagine? That can't happen.
I've just made that up, by the way. I'm sure that,
But I think,
Well, if you've got a smart door lock, I'm sure you could.
God, that's just,
Well, this is a tangent we won't go far down, but Amazon did a thing where if you, the answer to me would be absolutely no way.
Yeah.
Where if you've got a compatible smart lock, you could allow, I think it was with the Amazon Fresh shopping.
Right.
Or was it a different?
Oh, what? Someone to come in and drop it off and
come
put it
in
in the fridge
and put it away for you.
Oh no!
I was like, I would not want. If it's someone I knew putting it away, it'd be, I think, on the face of it, great. It's all, when I get home, it's all in the fridge, in the cupboards. But like, they put it in the wrong place, and I don't want a stranger coming in my house.
Yeah, too right.
I don't care what insurance and all the rest of it. I don't even like, inviting people into my house like tradespeople. To do so, because I don't know. I just like, don't want you seeing all my stuff,
but you don't mind having an Alexa in the corner. Anyway,
true.
Harking back to last week.
Listen to last week's episode if you haven't. Yeah.
I think your question was: does the great British public or people of the world do we want more businesses that are using this kind of gig economy, and they're not necessarily offices with people there all the time, and people on the ground are operating these things essentially, and they are kind of like a marketing business. Can I just flip it? Because actually, I've got a couple of examples of people who work for them.
Okay, yeah.
Where it's been great because it's not just about the consumer.
Yeah.
They are creating.
It's about providing flexible work. You can work around your family and other commitments. Yeah.
And again, that whole topic of holiday pay, sick pay. Let's not get into that because we will just go on forever and ever.
Well, as people who both own and run our own businesses, holiday and sick pay a luxury, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, quite. I miss it.
Yeah.
But I've got a friend who's now a national radio presenter.
Oh yeah,
actually. But he was. I met him when he was working in the commercial side of radio, so he was selling all the adverts.
Yeah.
He saw what we were up to, and he really liked the idea of programming.
Yeah.
So he did a bit of kind of shadowing of us, and came out to some of the events that we did and saw how we ran things. Decided, I'm going to pack in this commercial job, and I'm going to go back to uni, and I'm going to study radio production for a year as a master's.
Yeah.
Throughout that year, he was obviously having to make lots of different radio programs, podcasts, and he decided for one of his projects it was kind of like a health and fitness thing, where rather than paying £25 a month to go to the gym, he was going to get paid to be a Deliveroo rider.
Yeah, I've seen this thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and he did it in Liverpool. He lost loads of weight because he was on his bike. He was only going to kind of city centre restaurants and dropping off in the city centre. But he lost a load of weight. He could work when he wanted to.
Yeah.
When he was in at uni, he could go in and do that. Then he'd get back home, get on his bike.
You just flick on the app as and when you want. Yeah.
He's a tough Scouse lad.
Yeah.
So when it was absolutely hammering it down with rain, he'd go, I'm going out now because there'll be less people doing it and money's more.
Yeah, do you get paid more when there's less people out? Like
I believe
Uber?
so.
Yeah.
But for him, it's great. My brother is just about to take a job, essentially working for Hermes, dropping off parcels because he's got a van with business insurance on it.
Yeah.
He's got a few hours a day where he's not using it.
Yeah, why not?
So he's going to do that in the mornings.
Yeah.
I think the gig economy and apps like Deliveroo, Just Eat, Uber, for somebody who wants to make a bit of extra money, I suppose that's the thing here, isn't it? Of can these be full-time jobs?
Yeah, can it be your only or primary source of income? Yeah.
But I just can't see why there's a problem with if a company is providing work and people want to take that work and people want to, the end consumer wants to get somewhere or eat something.
Yeah.
I can't see why there's an issue.
Yeah. And I completely agree. I think it's a fantastic ecosystem, if you like. I think the idea is great. My only thing is that I think it comes with caveats, and it's as long as certain conditions are met. And probably number one would be as long as the people providing the service, like your brother and whoever, are properly looked after and not treated like slaves or whatever. And secondly, that I think it needs to be run, in a fair and honest way for everyone. And I think what upset me the most about my experience with Uber Eats is that I got the feeling like that
they didn't care.
And that I was being, had off.
Yeah.
And then they didn't care after that. And that, and then what this leads me on to
So you think that experience would have been different if you just ordered your Chinese, or your curry, because you can't order KFC. I wish you could straight from them.
I think, because the company that I was having to deal with was so far removed and so far away. It wasn't like, the old days where I could walk into the shop and say, I want to speak to the manager, please.
Yeah.
The people I was, communicating with via email and Twitter were either in probably the Netherlands, because they're Europe arms based there, or maybe over in America. And judging by the time of day that the responses were coming, it was probably someone in California, deciding whether or not they were going to help me out with my little local issue from, around the corner in Liverpool. And that leads me on to the sort of the second talking point of this episode, which is general, customer service online. I remember in the early days of Twitter, where if you moaned about a company or complained to them, they would shit a brick and do everything they could to be seen publicly to be putting that right, and they'd go beyond and above and over the beyond the line of duty. That's the wrong phrase, isn't it? The call of duty. Yes. Yeah. I'm mixing up my
TV shows and computer games.
Yeah. This is so smooth.
Beyond the whatever.
Yeah, they go beyond and above.
Above and beyond.
Yeah, they go above and beyond. I remember Vodafone were a particular example when I got my Samsung Galaxy S2, I think it was. I wasn't even a Vodafone customer. I wasn't complaining. I think my friend had got a good deal, so I just tweeted them. And, this was back before I was, a Twitter master with millions and millions of followers. And then they wanted to be seen. So their Twitter team gave me a fantastic deal, which was much better than I would have got if I just phoned at Vodafone and said, I want a phone, please. So I've had two experiences recently which have got me thinking about this. And this isn't, as in-depth tech discussion as a lot of our podcasts are going to be, but I complained to Uber Eats on Twitter, and I've also in the last 12 months complained to Virgin Media about something on Twitter. And it's just struck me that it's not like it used to be. Them good old days.
There's a very simple reason for that, is that these forms of media are incredibly democratic. It gives everyone a voice.
Yeah.
Right? Too many people complaining about stuff has ruined it for everyone.
Do you think?
But yeah, absolutely. Like, I get really annoyed when I scroll down my Twitter.
And it's just people complaining.
And it's like, hey, at insert train company here, I had to stand up for half an hour. And you go, is it really that much of a big problem? And you look on their profile and they got 220 followers. Exactly. All they do is use Twitter to complain to people. So it's people that have ruined it. When it first came around.
But it annoys me people that will do, because in your example they said, hey, at train company.
Yeah, so I have to see it.
So everyone sees it.
Yeah.
People need to learn how to use Twitter properly. And I didn't know straight away when I first started using Twitter, 10 years or so ago. Makes me sound old.
You are old, Paul.
No, I'm not. I'm very, very young. Yeah, young and fresh-faced.
Cool. We'll go with that.
And even you see like well-known politicians getting it wrong. Where if you want to tweet to someone but you want everyone to see it, you stick a dot before, but then you do dot space, and you wasted a character there. You didn't need that space. Anyway, digress.
People have ruined it.
People have ruined it.
It's not the companies just caring less. They care less because the volume's so much.
Yeah, and I think they no longer feel that if they're badmouthed on Twitter, it's going to affect them negatively. I think they don't care anymore.
Yeah, because the rest of the public is going, stop moaning on about this.
But the responses I got from Uber Eats were just so mechanical, but like fake, over the top, cringy. Hi Paul, oh yeah, we definitely want to get this. And like I think I counted, every single tweet said definitely this, and we definitely want to get this sorted. And so, well, you don't. And my experience with Virgin Media was even worse, where they can literally do nothing. Virgin Media for home broadband, I think are the best company that you can get in the UK, and I recommend them to lots of people. And you get 50 quid for referring them, which is obviously partly always over a deal. But I made the silly mistake of switching to Virgin Mobile for my phone. I think it's May last year,
right?
And had all sorts of issues and problems. And to cut a very long story short, they reassured me that we'll sort you out, we'll fix the problems, we'll get it working properly. And I said, well, the solution you've proposed is going to take a lot more than 14 days, but there's only a 14-day cooling off period before which I can't cancel without penalty. And they said, no, it's fine, don't worry. But then when I did come to want to cancel without penalty, no, you'll have to pay a big disconnection fee. Yeah. So I complained at them, and all their Twitter team does is say, "Oh, we're very sorry about that. Phone the team on this number." Well, I'm tweeting you because I phoned the team and they were rubbish, and they literally can't do anything. They literally act just as a pointer. They won't even DM, and whereas some companies, send us a private message and we'll discuss it with you there. No, they won't do that at all. And I suppose you've already answered the question really, but maybe this is just an epitaph to, if that's the right word, to when it the good old days where you could complain if you got bad service and something was done about it.
Yeah, I mean, something else will come along. Another platform will be created where you can complain until your heart's content, Paul. But and people will listen and will care. At the same time,
not that I don't want to come across as a big complainer.
No, you're definitely not coming across as a big complainer. How many times in the last year? I just take that angle because I never do. Like, even if it's the British thing of this is crap, it's cold, send it back. Oh no. I'm like that
Fawlty
anyway.
Towers episode. Oh, it's awful, isn't it? Oh, we just won't eat here again. And then Basil Fawlty comes along. Is everything okay with your meals? Yes, it's lovely, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I personally just can't be bothered with the hassle. That's my personal choice on it, and I don't want to be getting into a slanging match with someone on Twitter. And
I think I'm one of these people that's I hate losing, especially if I know I'm right. It's why I've been so vehemently and passionately against Brexit, because if I'm very, very firm in my belief about something, I don't let it go. Maybe I should sometimes and just get on with my life. But
it feels kind of weird that I'm Ben the noob. You're Mr. Techie, and I'm really excited about seeing new businesses emerge in the gig economy. I want to see what else they can do.
I love them. I just want them to be run properly. Yeah. On the subject of companies that are run really properly, have you heard of Skillshare? How was that for a segue into the
I've got to be honest, I haven't looked at it yet.
Yeah, you haven't looked at it yet?
No.
Oh, dear. Well,
but it's on the list of things to do.
Excellent. Well, can you remember? Let's test you from. This is obviously if you're new to the podcast. This is episode 2, and in episode 1, I told Ben all about the fantastic world of Skillshare. Who are this episode's sponsor. Tell us who Skillshare are.
So it's basically a website of a community of 3 million people.
Well remembered.
I was actually trying to find my notes because I'm the same thing as you, but I can't find that bit. But yeah, it's you can upload stuff and videos and teach people. For example, I could become a teacher on audio editing.
You could, yeah. Well, the main Skillshare service is if you want to learn something and if you want to get more switched on to the world of technology, gadgets, and the internet. Obviously, the first thing you do is subscribe to the Switched On Network, YouTube channel, podcast, and all the rest of it. But the second thing you might want to do is specifically learn a new skill with Skillshare, and it's a bit like Netflix for education. And you can pay between £7 and £13 a month, depending on if you want to pay annually or monthly. Dollar and euro equivalents available, of course.
And I remember you get 2 months free.
You do indeed.
If you sign up with the link in the description of this podcast / YouTube video.
Yes. So you get 2 months completely free, and that might be long enough to do a course and then cancel. Which
don't say that.
which you could do if you want. Obviously, they would love you to carry on, and but you can try it out to your heart's content. If you're not happy with it, cancel, no problem at all. But you'll get 2 months completely free access to Skillshare.
So this is an example of the gig economy then, because it's people uploading, people
it really
learning.
Is. Yeah. So if you wanted to become a teacher on Skillshare and make a little bit of money on the side, you could put together. You'd probably need to employ the services of a good video production company. Inabella Media, quick plug there. And you could create a 10 episode course, 10 half hour or 10 hour long episodes on audio and podcast production. And then
sounds a bit dry though, doesn't it?
Wow.
How about fantasy football hints and tips? It's not that kind of thing, is it?
You could. Yeah, you might be.
I'm just really good at that at the moment. Having a really good season. No, it does sound really good, and I promise you, it is on my to-do list because there's a few things, especially when it comes to video editing, that I really want to get better at, and I've got a few Adobe things sitting here on the bottom of my wonderful MacBook screen that I haven't even opened, but I really want to get to grips with.
Well, I'd recommend for that on Skillshare, Jordi Vanderput. Sorry if I've said your name wrong. He's the guy who runs the Cinecom.net YouTube channel. He also has some courses that go into a lot, more depth. And they, obviously a YouTube video is going to be, 5 to 10 minutes long, flashy and engaging, and all the rest of it, the YouTube algorithm. But with Skillshare video, it's, someone who's specifically said, right, this afternoon I've put aside 2 hours and I'm going to learn and study and practice.
Cool.
So obviously you're going to get that different type of experience there. But yeah, I'd recommend have a look at some of his stuff there.
Great.
So yeah. Any more questions or anything about the main topic of today?
I feel like it was more kind of I was answering the question today. Which I quite
this
liked.
is quite nice. Yeah, flip around a bit.
I'm thinking that next week. What's next week's one?
Next week we are discussing. You put me on the spot here.
Because you mentioned electric cars.
Yeah. We're going to be next week, I think, or was it the week after, we are discussing, it is next week, the Tesla Cybertruck.
Great.
And will it be a success? It's a very polarizing design. Have you seen the design?
Yeah.
I showed...
I think it looks cool.
Well,
I'd never drive it.
I know, that's the thing. It's like... Yeah, I showed you've met Bella, my little girl, haven't you? She's 6. She knows that Daddy really wants a Tesla. And I showed the other day someone parked outside our neighbour's house in, I think it was like a Nissan Navara,
right?
The big pickup. And I said, I was telling her that's called a pickup or a ute. They call them in Australia, don't they? A utility vehicle. Explaining how it's really good for your work. You've got your tools in the back. And I said it's still 5 seats in there. And I said, shall I show you the Tesla one? She's like, yeah, okay. Oh, I wish I'd recorded her reaction to the first time I just Google imaged, Tesla Cybertruck, showed her, and she went, "What?" And I can't remember what she said now. It was something along the lines of, "That's ridiculous," or "That's stupid," or something.
Ridiculously cool.
Yeah. So
I mean, I can see that it's it's definitely drastic. No, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how to phrase it. It's definitely it's a bold design.
Definitely, yeah, and it's definitely, that if that drives down the street at the moment, because obviously all cars might change to look like that, but that will definitely turn some heads. It won't blend in. So yeah, we're going to be discussing, will it be a success? We're going to be talking about the whole broken window incident.
Yeah, I did see that.
Was it a stunt or a mistake?
Yeah.
So that will hopefully be a really good episode.
And can we just kind of talk about electric cars in general? Just because me and Jem are talking about needing to buy a new car, and
excellent,
we want to look at electric cars, but it's those general concerns of, is it going to conk out on the motorway or whatever?
There's actually a discussion going on right now on the Switched On Network Facebook group, which you can join. Links in the show notes and the video description below, where we've been talking on the group about electric cars. So I think you're in the group, aren't you?
Yeah.
I invited you.
Yeah. Just need to put something in there.
Yeah. So joining the discussion there, we'll talk about electric cars and all the rest of it. I think I want to do a lot more on EVs as well, because I think that's a really big hot topic, and it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Great.
And yeah, my shares in Tesla are doing really well at the moment.
Oh, really?
So I'm hoping they carry on going. Yeah. So disclaimer, I do have shares in Tesla.
Fair play.
But
can you get me some?
Not at the current price, no.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you should have bought them a few years ago. Well, they're probably going to go up and up and up. So
great.
Probably wouldn't be a bad thing to buy them now. But yeah, so that's next week. So subscribe if you haven't already to the Switched On Network. We're on all platforms. You can subscribe on YouTube, obviously, which is where Switched On Network was born. But we're on Facebook, Instagram TV, and your chosen podcast apps, whether that's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or whatever. You can follow us on Twitter as well, at Switched On Net. We can't have Switched On Network because it's too many characters, so it's just at Switched On Net. So let us know your thoughts. And
what you complained to Twitter about that?
No, I haven't, no. Let us know your thoughts, and if you have any good or bad experiences of the gig economy. And yeah, don't forget Skillshare. Get you 2 months free on there. And if you're enjoying the videos and podcasts on Switched On Network and you want to support us, then there's the Patreon as well. You get some added perks and benefits there. And we might even read your name out in a future episode.
How about that?
And that's our way of saying thank you. So thank you very much for watching and listening to the podcast. Hope you've enjoyed it. And tune in next week for a discussion of the Tesla Cybertruck.
Bro.
Bye for now.
You've been listening to the Switched On Network podcast, produced by Sound Rebel and Innobella Media. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, then please subscribe on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram TV, or your chosen podcast app, and give us a thumbs up, click like, or give us a rating and a review. You can follow us at Switched On Network on Facebook and Instagram, and at Switched On Net on Twitter. Discover more great podcasts at soundrebel.co.uk.